because we kowtowed to, right-wing extremists then, Pam Bondi is now taking her goon squad and trying to prosecute journalists for covering protests just because they are in a church.
They're also attempting to use, Nana, the KKK Act to enhance these alleged crimes. Again, an ironic use of an act that was originally designed to protect newly freed African Americans, Black folks, from the Klan. But Harmeet Dillon did an interview today on a right-wing podcast in which she explained how they would attempt to enhance these crimes, alleged crimes against this multiple set of African Americans, of Black folks, with that. I want to let you get a final word on that.
Yeah, I mean, this is what this administration and this regime, I hate to call it administration because it's really a regime, Joy. This is what this regime continues to do. It continues to take what is used for Black people, what our folks, blood, sweat, and tears, mainly Black American, but also, of course, Black immigrants such as Kwame Ture and others, right, bled for, to be able to have. And they take things that were used in the time of Reconstruction to be able to give people the opportunity, Black people, the opportunity that Black people deserve to be able to build the world that we needed to have. They take that and then they use it against it in like this cruel joke. It's a mockery. They're literally making mockery of the blood, sweat, tears that we have shed in order to get to the places that we have gotten to, that they consider to be too far. It's too far for them. And so they're using that and thinking that it's humorous that they're using it as a sword against us. It's really important that as we're dealing these cases, because there's a lot of attorneys that are talking about democracy, which is important, very important, but this is not just democracy. When it comes to Black people, and I'm saying this as a movement attorney of 30 years, it is also about anti-Blackness. It's about trying to grind Black people back to where we were. And if your only conversation is about democracy and the rule of law, and you're not bringing in these other pieces, that's why critical race theory is so critical, then you're going to be missing the whole piece of what's happening. And you're going to be saying, how do we get to Renee Good dead? How do we get to Alex Preddy dead? And you won't be understanding how Tamir Rice, Sandra Bland, how dismissing what happens to Black people. That's part of what we have, a framework we just launched called Stop Taking Our People at Baji. And part of that is a warning. It's an invitation, but it's also a warning. If you continue to dismiss what happens to Black people and anti-Blackness, and you will be surprised when you look up and it takes us all out.
Indeed. Very beautifully said. Nana Gyamfi, thank you very much, from Instabaji on Instagram. It's so easy to follow her that way. And Liz Winstead from the Abortion Access Front. It's aaf.org, I am presuming, but correct me if I'm wrong.
It is aafront.org.
AA Front. Look at that. See, you got to make sure that we get it right. We don't want to
do the
wrong website. Thank you both very much. Happy Friday. Have a great weekend. Please stay.
Happy Friday. Great to see you all.
Thank you very much. Before I introduce our next guest, a couple of news items just to share with you. The Senate has approved a Trump-backed government funding deal, delaying for now a larger fight over whether ICE will be funded. Democrats have been breaking left and saying they do not want that funded. The United States, per the New York Times, and Argentina, Javier Milei's authoritarian country, are said to be in advanced talks to allow the United States to deport immigrants from other countries to Argentina, even if they're not actually from Argentina. One more piece of breaking news: Sahil Kapoor from The Artist, formerly known as MSNBC, reporting that every Senate Democrat, or he might be from NBC News, that every single Senate Democrat, plus Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski, just voted for the Bernie Sanders amendment to repeal the $75 billion in additional ICE funding under Trump's big, hideous bill. However, the measure failed 49-51. And Sahil is NBC News. Let's make sure we give him his right honorific. Let's bring in our friend Lev Parnas, the man with the scoops from Lev Remembers. Lev, we've been talking about the release of Don Lemon on his own recognizance, as well as Georgia Fort and the others. No bail, no $100,000 bail. So obviously they're not a threat to the community. Don is now free to go, as is Georgia. What do you know about the motivations here, and what have you developed as far as what's happened?
So, yeah, no, there a lot of things are happening behind the scenes. So, thank God Don is out, and also the other reporters are out. Independent journalists. I've also been speaking to some of Don's legal team behind the scenes, and thank God, there is justice there. That we have judges that are standing up to Trump all over the place. But this is bigger than just Don Lemon. I mean, yes, as I wrote in my Substack, they finally got what they wanted. Him and Stephen Miller literally walking around with a grin in the White House. They got their black man, they got their gay man, they got their perfect, what they want to now go out and try to cause this. But it's more than that. They're linking it also. Some of the people in the indictment, I don't know if you saw, Joy, were actually tied to Black Lives Matter. That's
Yes.
another thing that I was talking about previously. If you remember behind the scenes, me and you were discussing it, that they're trying to link because of a video, they're trying to link organizations like Black Lives Matters. Also, I'm hearing reporting that they're having surveillance done on certain independent journalists, like even my own son and others that are right now out there. And Don might have been one of them. Because as you could see in the indictment, they're trying to indict him with a conspiracy charge of getting together. So they're also trying to go after and basically scare the money donors, people that are supporting people, and that's why right now, folks, more than ever, we need to support, stand up, help one another, because that's part of what the fear factor that they're doing in. Also, they're going into signal chats, phone records, basically trying to turn this into a whole big cabal conspiracy tied into organizations, like I said, like Black Lives Matters, trying to bring Antifa, as we know is not even an organization, but bring that in there and make Don and others, because I'm hearing there's also others that they're looking into, that there's other arrests coming and other journalists that they're going to be trying to shut down.
This is clearly an advance of what they've been doing with Palantir in terms of this total surveillance. We understand that ICE is using Palantir or Palantir-style surveillance technology when they're putting their phones. Lots of people saw Greg Bovino walking up to people in the street and putting their phone in their face. They're using this surveillance technology, some of it apparently tied to Palantir, to try to track people all through neighborhoods. But as you said, there have been rumors, Lev, that they have been infiltrating signal chats, that they have been attempting to plant spies and infiltrators in these organizations, and that, as you said, they're very determined to draw Black Lives Matter in. Now, just so that you all will understand, in both of the chats here, Black Lives Matter is not one organization. There are lots of different Black Lives Matter individual entities around the country. It isn't one big organization, but they are attempting to pretend that it is, and that there's some sort of connection, because, as you said, they've been frustrated that there have not been Black faces at the forefront of these protests.
100%. I mean, literally, they are, rejoicing and thinking that this attack, that this is going to, again, what they don't think through, because Stephen Miller is not the brightest cat in the in the litter, and I'm saying that kindly. But the fact that they, like you said earlier, that the people are onto their game, and what we've seen in Minnesota is just amazing, because with all the atrocities, the killings, I don't even have the adjectives to say the stuff that they are doing. We're seeing peaceful protests. We're seeing all black, white, brown. We're seeing everybody come together. What they're doing is backfiring. Instead of dividing the country, and what they're trying to do between black and white, and trying to turn this into that, go back into that white national supremacist country, it's working the opposite. And then and we're seeing the peaceful protests, and that's why they're not able to push what they're really trying to do, is the Insurrection Act, their Project 2025. And I'm also hearing behind the scenes that there's even though some of the stuff were distractions, what happened with Don, but today they're trying to cover up a lot of the stuff that was being dumped in the Epstein files that is being uncovered right now, like Howard Lutnick, the famous Howard Lutnick that came out there and said he was neighbors with Epstein, knew all about, never been to Epstein Island. Well, the records are in. We're going to be talking about later tonight. He was on Epstein Island. Howard Lutnick is in the Epstein files. You know who else is in the Epstein files? You know,
Yeah.
the guy that was screaming the loudest, I want them to release the Epstein file. Well, this is the third dump. And again, Michael Cohen is in the Epstein files. You can't, I mean, Joy, you can't make this stuff up. And you know, the other things that are in the Epstein files that is just disgusting, and where, you know, that why Don was put in this situation to begin with because of the timing, is there was a lot of complaints that they tried to sneak in there, where they're actually talking about 13, 14-year-old girls getting doing oral sex to Donald Trump. Literally the same thing as Katie Johnson was saying, and there's several complaints about that. I mean, there's
stop you there for just one moment,
Yeah,
because one of the things we read earlier today, only Zateo right now, and again, this is Zateo's reporting earlier today. I started to read some of it during our live earlier when we were on earlier, but I just couldn't get through it. It was so disgusting.
Yeah.
But one of the things that stood out to me in this alleged tip that came into the FBI in 1987, when Donald Trump was an active real estate investor. Now, remember, when Donald Trump in the 1980s was a public person, a famous real estate developer, he wasn't a politician. He really wasn't that important on a national level. He was mainly known to people in New York. So this wouldn't have been about attempting by Jeffrey Epstein to try to be his friend because he thought he would be president, unless you believe the stories that Donald Trump was in the late 80s already being developed by the Kremlin as a Russian asset. If you believe that, then maybe you do believe that that's why he was getting close to him. But the reality is, this was an era when Donald Trump was very active in the modeling world, owning a modeling agency. I think that he might have started maybe in the 90s. I'm not sure when he started it, but he was palling around with John Casablancas and Jean-Luc Brunard, I think his name is.
That's right, correct.
Karen models. And all of these men were predators. They were predators. And there was one thing, Lev, and I don't know if you've been able to zero in on this particular thing in this alleged complaint. Alleged. Donald Trump has not been accused of this. There's been no accusation legally, but this is a tip to the FBI, is that they were mentioning, to put it the most bland way I can, digital penetration, meaning Donald Trump allegedly grabbing underage girls by the P word, which is something he himself has on tape bragged about doing, and that he himself in a civil trial was found liable for having done to E. Jean Carroll.
I mean, that's 100% you hear that. Again, this is all alleged but we don't know the way they dumped it. That's another thing. We don't know if this has been investigated. We don't know what transpired with these complaints. This is why I call it a dump, because they basically dumped this on us without actually, okay, so what happened with that complaint? Did you follow up on it? Did you see? We don't know where's the other dump. And that's why we're seeing lots of things there. Another thing we saw in there was Elon Musk again showing up, making plans. Again, we don't know if he actually was at the island, but again, we see messages of him talking about him going to the island. So again, we're seeing these bits and pieces. And again, they dumped this during a time where, like, again, the country's outraged because of what they did to Don Lemon and other independent journalists. What's happening in Minnesota is continuously. They raided yesterday Georgia, and all of a sudden today we dumped 3 million files. So yes, Joy, this is
weirdly
all
not coincidental.
No, none of it. And that's why I want to make sure. And I'm glad. Thank you for having me, because I tell everybody, watch what they do now, what they say, keep the eye on the ball, because they're trying the distractions. Yes, they're important, because a lot of these things are important in their own ways. But the kryptonite to Superman, his kryptonite is the Epstein files. Major cover up.
And Lev, listen, Bill Gates, who we know was very deep in the Epstein files, Elon Musk, who at least there are emails talking about him maybe going to Epstein Island. Peter Thiel, who in the last dump we saw, there were emails about trying to arrange a meetup between Epstein and Peter Thiel. Steve Bannon, Donald Trump. You start to look at a very small nexus of men who, at minimum, like Alan Dershowitz, but he was his lawyer, had some form of a relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, at least knew him well enough that they are appearing more than once in these files. Your average person is not appearing in these files, but these all happen to be billionaires or billionaire adjacent people. Donald Trump now a billionaire because of crypto. But they are people who want a certain number of the same things: absolute power, and to be an elite through a techno-feudalist system in which they would have total surveillance over the United States and everyone in it. They would have Palantir that would be able to read your phone even when your phone is off, watch you through your smart TV even when your smart TV is off, and do pre-crime. In other words, try to determine whether you might commit a crime in the future or whether you might protest in the future, laying everyone out like Minority Report, so that you'd have total control over every single person in the United States. Last thing I'll add, you've now had Doge go into the federal government and get for potentially Grok, potentially OpenAI, potentially Peter Thiel, potentially Palantir, potentially whoever, access to every single American social security records, immigration records, birth records, you name it. They now have that which they can sweep up into their AI systems in order to enhance and improve their total surveillance. When you start to look at it that way, you don't sound as much like a conspiracy theorist as you sound like a realist who says this cabal is suppressing the Epstein files because it is the roadmap to what they want to do to us and how they want to do it and what Jeffrey Epstein's role was in it.
100%, Joy, and that's why I keep saying, and that's why actually, if I may, we also have a petition out there. I'll share it with you if you could share it. We have over 10,000 already signature, folks. It's a petition basically to say I'm going to meet up in Congress the February 12th with Congressman Raskin and Congressman Rokana. We have over 10,000, and it's a petition to say, listen, yes, they're going to release the Epstein files, but in the meantime, we could walk and chew gum. We already know that certain people are in the Epstein files: Steve Bannon, Michael Cohen, the Clintons, you name it. What's it called? Peter Thiel, what's his name? What's his name? Michael
Peter
Wolf.
Thiel,
Elon Musk. I mean, these people need to get subpoenaed right now. Why are we waiting for it? Let's start questioning. Let's get out there. We don't.
Y'all like Bill Clinton's and the Epstein. Bill Clinton said, "Good, subpoena me."
Yeah, exactly. Subpoena, that's what I'm saying. Subpoena everybody, not just Bill Clinton. Let's go. Let's get the list. We have a list. Sign the petition, folks, and let's go. We don't have to wait until everything is released. We don't know what is going to. They're scrubbing. They're lying. They're trying to cover. Right now, we have some really incredible stuff. I mean, we know Michael Cohen's all over it. We know Michael Wolff is all over it. Steve Bannon is all over it. We know Elon Musk is all over it. I mean, what else do we need? Let's go. Let's get going.
I want to know who Bubba is. You know, Mark Epstein and Jeffrey Epstein texting about whether or not Putin has the tapes of Trump, quote unquote, blowing Bubba. I want to know who Bubba is. And we don't know if it's
absolutely.
Not. Last question before I let you go. You talked about it earlier on the live, because this seems to be one of the things that Donald Trump really fears the most. This I'm holding in my hands from the previous Epstein dump. This complaint, Jane Doe versus Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. This is something that came up back when I first heard and met you, or knew of you at least, when I was doing my weekend show. And this disappeared real quick because we were attempting to interview whoever it was that filed this. This is Jane Doe. Who do you know, Lev, who Jane Doe is and why she filed a complaint, a lawsuit that was withdrawn ultimately, claiming she was sexually abused as a 13-year-old child by Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein? Again, not something he was charged with, not something that went anywhere. Do you know who Jane Doe is?
Absolutely. And thank you so much for talking about this, Joy, because it's extremely important. And this is exactly what Donald Trump is scared of. Jane Doe was Katie Johnson, which is another synonym for we don't know what her real name was. She was a 13-year-old girl that was, like you said, and I'm not going to go into the graphic details, but was sexually trafficked, abused by, and had the courage to file an actual lawsuit. She filed a lawsuit, and she was represented by a very powerful attorney. So it's a credible lawsuit by Attorney Bloom. And at that time, she named Epstein and Trump as sexually, raping her and all kinds of stuff. And at the time, right prior to election in around 2016, All of a sudden, she disappeared. Her complaint got withdrawn. There's several things that are going on right now that we are right now opening up, and the Epstein files are releasing. One of those things is Michael Cohen at that time was his fixer. He has denied, he has said that he's been the closest to him, has been around him, done everything to him, except when it comes to the Epstein files. When it comes to the Epstein files, he's been very aggressive. He's been very, hiding behind, a story about another Jane Doe. That Jane Doe, that story doesn't exist, the story that Michael Cohen tells us, because after investigative work done, we've confirmed that there's only one actual complaint, and this is the Katie Johnson Jane Doe. Then Michael Cohen's in the Epstein file, now I apologize, it's very important, came out that said that when Michael Cohen was in prison, he asked to be released out of prison because he had information about Epstein and Donald Trump. And I've been speaking to, and today we actually have a major special at 9 o'clock with Wajahid Ali and Ellie Leonard and a surprise guest, Mark Ebner. Mark Ebner is an investigator that was on, investigated and did the work about Michael Cohen, Jerry Falwell Jr., Donald Trump, and he's going to, Michael Cohen, has a lot more explaining to do. So we're bringing it. So the fact that Michael Cohen wrote that letter, like I said to you that time about Letitia James and also Alvin Bragg, it's all tied in together. And it all has to do with Katie Johnson. It all has to do with what Michael, again, I'm not accusing Michael Cohen of doing. Sure. The only thing I am saying Michael Cohen is he knows a lot more than he is saying, and it's time that he needs to be brought under oath. Same as Michael Wolff, same as Steve Bannon.
It is interesting because we know Michael Cohen. Michael Cohen absolutely is welcome to come on this show and explain what this is all about. I have seen him do a couple of interviews about it. And so I think it would be important to get more information. The bottom line is the truth will set you free. There is something in these Epstein files that terrifies Donald Trump. He is protecting, if not himself, somebody's. There are people being protected, and all of the things that they're doing to distract you, including arresting journalists, ostentatiously arresting journalists that Donald Trump hates, to make a spectacle, particularly a black spectacle for the racist MAGA cult. Because again, MAGA is a racist white Christian nationalist religion, and they know that it's easy to trigger them. Find them someone black that you can wave in front of them, wave the bloody black shirt in front of them. They go crazy. It's like throwing chum to a shark. And that is what they've done with Don Lemon. They must know clearly that they have no case against him or Georgia Fort or any of the others. They know Black Lives Matter is nowhere near responsible for the almost all entirely white protests in the almost entirely white state of Minnesota. They know that because you can just take a camera or phone out and look at the protests. It's people who look like Lev, not people who look like me. And so they know that, and they're angry about it. And so they needed black people. Unfortunately, they found it in this group of protesters, very clearly Nakima Levy Armstrong, who targeted that church for a reason. And on Monday, I hope you guys will tune into this show because we are going to dig deep into that reason. I've been talking about it. I've been hinting at it. The leader of the white Christian nationalist faith in this country is in Idaho. He spawned multiple churches, including that church in Minneapolis. That is why that church was targeted. We need to talk more about that and about white Christian nationalism, the people who are building the Handmaid's Tale in America. That's what that church is about. So we're going to talk more about that on Monday. Lev, we appreciate you. Please follow Lev Remembers on Substack.
Hey, Joy, where can people sign that petition?
Oh yeah, please tell us, Lev. Where can we sign that petition?
You know what? I'll send it to you. It's at org. I'll give you the link, and maybe you could share that link with everybody. That would be incredible. Thank you so much. Enjoy. I just want to say, God bless you. Thank you for having me, and keep speaking truth to power. We need more independent journalist voices like you, like Don, like my son. Like we need to, because that's that's who they're coming after next. This is just the beginning. So thank you, Joy.
If you all don't know who Lev's son is, it's Aaron Parnas, the very popular YouTuber. We've been trying to get him, but we keep trying to ask him on Friday, and he's more religious than you because
yes.
Shabbat. So we're going to try to catch him on a day that's not Shabbat. But we appreciate Lev. Please let him know. We really appreciate him. And you need to go to synagogue, my friend, because you're here with me after sundown. But yes, he's a great guy. And you, Lev, I have to say to you, because you are Ukrainian, and I think it's always important that, you know, the courage of the people of Ukraine is part of what continues to inspire me and so many of us, and of the courage of the dissidents in Russia. We think about Vladimir Karamurza all the time. We think about Alexei Navalny, and they did not run or shrink from the autocracy in that country. Russia was falling into what seems to be interminable autocracy. But Alexei Navalny believed in that country, loved his country, and died for his country, as partly what he did was being a journalist, telling the truth. And the wonderful Vladimir Karamurza, every time I get nervous, I think about him and the fact that he went back to Russia and got it, right? It's incredible. So
Navalny went back to and got killed. I mean, he gave up his life knowing going back he's going to go to jail. That's heroes. That's incredible. Go ahead, Joe.
That is heroes. And so, no, absolutely. No. I want you to go ahead and get the last word, because this is the courage that we need. We need to look to Nelson Mandela, who went to prison 24 years in South Africa to overthrow their autocracy, which was called apartheid. We now are living in apartheid, y'all. We're living in authoritarianism and fascism. But there have been people who stood up who are no different than us. Medgar Evers, just a regular guy, you know, with a wife, and did his thing. Anyone can be courageous if you just love the country enough to try to fight for it. Give you the last word, Lev.
Thank you, Joe. 100%. I mean, remember Martin Luther King? You know, he had a dream. I mean, just simply, it's a simple thing. I mean, and the dream is unification, to unite this country. We need to stop division. We need to use this. I say, you know what, Joy? We need to use our anger. We have to put our anger, our frustration, and put it into action instead of depression, instead of falling back. And action is being loud, being strong. Keep going, protesting. Don't let them scare you, but be smart, be vigilant, because you see what they're doing. Don't give them the opportunity. And know we all need to stand together, support each other. And now's the time. Doesn't matter if you're black, white, purple, gray. Doesn't matter if you're Jewish, Christian. We all need to stand together against authoritarianism, against dictatorship, and against this rulelessness that's going on by Donald Trump, Stephen Miller, and a lot of them. And you know, Joy, I'm not proud of it, but I could tell you folks one thing. I'm not a journalist. I'm not a pundit. I was one of these people. I was part of building this mega machine in 2015, 2016. I know them all very well, not just Donald Trump, Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, you name it. I spent time with them. And I could promise you, I'll tell you one thing, Joy, to each and every one of you, I'm doing everything in my power, and I will, to make sure I take apart mega piece by piece, because we need to save our democracy, and we can't wait till 2026 midterms. We need to act now. So folks, go out there, write your congressmen, senators, sign the petition, and support independent journalism like Joy, Don Lemon, and others out there, because that's right now what we need in our country.
Amen. An immigrant, a man, a stand-up guy. How would you say the American equivalent of Slava Ukraini? How would we say that about America?
Glory to Ukraine.
Glory to Ukraine. Glory to but I mean,
and they respond. Glory to the heroes.
Yes. Okay. Glory to the heroes. We need that for the U.S. too, because look, we kind of in the same situation as Russia, buddy.
Yeah, we are. I mean, there's no. I'll tell you honestly, the crazy part, Joy, you're going to be in Russia. Women could go get abortions, no problem. We're even worse than Russia right now. We're worse than Russia. That's the crazy part, because at least their dictators are trying to hide and pretend that they're nice. Our dictator doesn't care. He's right now. Just think about it. We have the country's disarray, economy's going to nothing, and he's out there tweeting about Melania the movie. I mean, they're having a premiere at the Kennedy Center while people are getting killed. People are starving. You know, so I mean, we'll go into it at a different time, but thanks for having me, Joy.
One of our favorite guests. Thank you very much, Lev Parnas. Have a great weekend. And it is Lev Remembers. Thank you. We're going to make sure we link to Lev Remembers and to that petition. We're going to share it both here in the description on both YouTube and Substack, so everybody can get on that petition. Thank you
so much. God bless you guys.
God bless. Thank you very much. There it is. The immigrants get the job done, including Lev Parnas. We love that guy. He's terrific. Well, thank you all so much. We really appreciate y'all tuning in. We did a 2-a-day today, Jason. We got on two 2 times and 0 makeup. I didn't get hair and makeup for either one.
Yeah, we got work done today, but do you want to do your moment of joy? Or just want to come close us out?
No, I think we need to absolutely have a moment of joy. By the way, I didn't even mention it tonight, but you know, Donald Trump is also suing the United States for $10 billion. Donald Trump and his janky sons are suing you for $10 billion. He wants the IRS to pay him because he defrauded the state of New York and had to pay a fine. So there you have it. Donald Trump hates this country so much that he's suing the United States and forcing a whack Melania movie on the country that tens of people will watch, all of them probably with the surname Trump. No one's watching that shit. I bet even Brett Ratner, who's been accused multiple times of sexual predation, weirdly enough, everyone around Trump is sexual predators. But anyway, I'm sure he'll watch it, or maybe he won't even. Let's go to the moment of joy. Our moment of joy you've probably seen already on our social media because it is celebrating a number that we've already quite surpassed. Last night at about 7:30 p.m., we reached the 400,000 subscriber milestone, which we've now cleared by another 3,000.
3,000 by behind, 4,058.
By another 4,000 tonight. So we appreciate everybody. I want to throw a shout out before we go to our moment of joy. Cynthia Newland on the Substack chat. Is that Bokia D Alpha? We wanted to say Food Safe TYD. We want to just thank somebody. Rex Jarrell. We got somebody named Joy. We got Don. Everybody's saying Don. There's a Don over here. Jenna. I also want to shout out some of the people that are in the YouTube chat as well. T Taylor 21208. Miss, what is that? Miss Sip 40. And we actually figured out who our 400th subscriber was. Jason, we figured out who it was. Our 400,000th subscriber, I should say. We found the name. I'm going to have to put it I'll put it in the description because of course I won't be able to find it unless of course the daughter can grab it for me because I'm not going to be able to grab it quick enough.
Let's play this moment of joy and wrap it.
We're going to play the moment of joy, you guys. This was the moment that we were in 2 different offices here at the studio figuring out watching ourselves get to 400,000, and that's our moment of joy. Here it is. Enjoy it. Happy weekend. Like, subscribe, share. Thank you, and please support our sponsors. We appreciate y'all. And happy weekend. Goodbye. Stay safe.
Here we go, y'all. We're about to hit the 400,000 mark.
No second run.
Let's go. I'm going to be here to see it. It's going to take under a minute. Come on, let's touch that.
So exciting.
Come on, family.
All we need is one more
Let's get
person.
that. Here we go, family. Let's get that 400,000. Come on. Let me see that number change. Let's do this. 703. There we go, baby. 400,000 at 703. Thursday, January 29th. I am very excited. We got our 400,000 subscribers. Thank you, family, for blessing us. Wow, with 7 months, 400,000. This is amazing. Very happy.
That's it. That was our moment of joy. Thank you to everyone. Thank you to the Lemonheads. We love you. Free Don. Don is free, y'all. Don is free. Hallelujah. And Georgia Fort and all the rest as well. Love y'all. Happy weekend and see you Monday.
Getting back to the basics, grassroots level. Let me dig a little deeper with the shovel. Plenty can't tell the forest from the trees, and I'm hard to detect, like a black hole in the dark. Injustice anywhere, it's a threat to justice everywhere. Let me make this clear, I got a bone to pick, and I'll never fear the threat of poverty. They don't want to talk about it, they rather party, so I'm a real talk about it, for sure.